How long have you been a member?
I say since 2019, I think.
Okay, so just before the pandemic started.
Yeah,
Did you use it during the pandemic?
I did quite often, even though I was still working, but it was nothing to do after work. So
Exactly. I know, and
yeah,
you're from NYC, so that must have been like more of a shock for you, right?
very shocking. Yes, it was weird to just see NYC as a ghost town.
Yeah. I can't even
Yeah,
imagine that. That w-
yeah, it was actually pretty heartbreaking to see NYC that way. It was like you go outside, when you went in Times Square, the most busiest of busiest places was completely dead, just a ghost town.
what role did Jasmine play for you during that time?
Well, Jasmine played a pretty decent role at that time. I was coming home from work, going on, chatting with people, met a few friends on there, people that I won't go on sometimes for a decent time because I'm just so busy. And then when I get back on, they remember me and they know me by my name and they know where I'm from. A lot of them call me NYC. So yeah, it was a pretty good role they played. As soon as I got on, they remembered me. As soon as I went in one of the rooms, they knew exactly who I was and greeted me right away.
That's gonna feel pretty good. What's that like? I'm curious, like what for you, what's that experience like? Like you haven't been on in a while, and then you come on and a model is just like, oh my God, NYC, what's going on? Like,
Yeah, it was pretty cool because you have the thought in your head that they probably won't remember you, and they talk to so many people, hear from so many people a day that it was actually pretty warming. It was like, oh, you know what? She did remember me. That was cool. So yeah, it was a cool experience for them to remember me every time I went back on.
have you used other campsites?
Uh, very few, not too many. I've tried them, didn't, wasn't really like Live Jasmine, so never really stood there, never gave it the time.
I'm curious, like, what is it about Live Jasmine that has captured you and kept you?
It was just the way you could find, certain conversations with certain people and they would conversate back and you find your favorites and you could favorite them and you just know that, if you got home from work and a long day at work and you wanted to go on and see if they were there, they would be there and they greet you. And so it was a pretty good experience. There's one in particular that I love and she's so beautiful and she's a great time, and it's not even just the model part. She has a great personality and she's fun and caring and she asks you about your day and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, all right, she's cool. I got home and I knew, somebody was available to chat. You know what I mean? So
It sounds like you feel like cared about, appreciated. Is that fair to?
yes, exactly.
Do you have a favorite memory on Jasmine?
I went on one day and she had a bad day and I had a bad day at work and we just had just the best time and so much fun. That's like when the chat was over and done with, we both just like, wow, that was pretty intense, and that was just like one of the best memories ever.
Oh my goodness, I love that. That's
And
like,
then she was like, you know what, I might just go home now. You completed my day. I'd had conversations with certain models that I wouldn't have had with anyone else, and them too. Would conversate with me, and I'm pretty sure they probably would just kept that to themselves if they didn't have a person like me to talk to. So yeah, I was able to open up more and definitely be myself, knowing that whatever I talked about would be safe with this person thousands of miles away.
there is something to that. I feel like
There is definitely is. It gives you a nice sense of like security of knowing you could talk to them and it's safe. It's
absolutely. On a scale of 1 to 10, how often would you say you have like a really positive experience on Jasmine?
it's pretty much almost every time. So I would give that a 10 for sure. I've always had a positive experience, never anything negative.
Do you feel like those positive experiences have translated somehow into other areas of your life? Like if you have a really great experience with a model on Jasmine, do you maybe feel more confident with women in your day-to-day life or dating or
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they definitely boosted a lot of confidence up. I was able to go out on more dates and, yeah, and it definitely helped with that for sure. It kind of took me out of a nutshell. It was like, oh, you know what? It's made me, the confidence boost was there because of that for sure.
do you feel like it's like getting practice or tell me what is it that you think is helping?
Yeah, somewhat practice and the compliments and the practice helped, and the feeling of knowing that I am good enough. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, they boosted up the confidence and definitely helped with, like you said, practice.
Yeah, that is really powerful.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like when you first came to Jasmine, what was your motive? Like, were you coming for fun or were you coming for another reason? What was the initial reason?
A little bit of fun and a little bit of just filling a spot that I needed to be filled. You
Yeah.
know,
And what is the reason you think you've stayed?
because of the connection and knowing that every time I go on they will remember, and I had my favorites, and it was an easy to use place and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I always pretty much stayed. It was like, yeah, the Jasmine's a pretty good place to come to after a long hard day of work and just talk to the people that do remember you that are so far away.
That care, yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned a second ago that you part of the reason you came to Jasmine was like to fill a void that was there.
Yes.
I feel like so many of us have this feeling and we don't really know what to fill it with, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it's if you can't find a specific person to fill it, there's Jasmine.
Do you feel like it does feel fill that void?
Yeah, from time, there's times that I would feel like that void was filled, and then but most of the time, yes.
How do you feel like Jasmine is different or similar to traditional porn?
It's the connection. The traditional porn is you just watching a video. Um, Jasmine is you're making a connection and you're talking to a actual live human. They're live humans in porn too, but you're talking one on one with this person.
You choose as a member to pay to interact with the model.
Exactly.
Why do you choose to pay to interact with her as opposed to watching something
Free.
online or
Yeah. Well, because this if you go to a model and you say, oh, you want to talk to her, or you're gonna go watch a free porn video, you could just watch it, and it's not much connection there. You pay to talk and chat with this person, do whatever you're desiring, your fantasies, and you can live out certain fantasies, and that's what makes it, I guess, worth it. When you that's when you pay for it.
absolutely.
You could think about a fantasy, but can you live it out when you're watching porn? You could go into a private chat with a model, and some of them will say, before they want to do anything, so how was your day and how are you feeling? Are you okay? And you won't get that from porn.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Like you've
Yeah,
touched on earlier, it's another human being that's genuinely caring and
exactly.
that you build these connections with.
Yeah. And you never know what's going on outside those walls. Maybe they needed to hear that. Maybe they needed to hear about your day. Some of them might need that.
You're right. And some of them do. It's mutually beneficial relationship as far as just that human connection to human connection goes, you know?
Yeah,
We
exactly.
all need that.
Yeah, we all need that. We all crave for, affection and somebody that's loving and caring. So as
Yeah,
a human being, you want to give that so you can get it back in return.
absolutely.
I'd seen somebody just pure down and out, and she was crying and, basically was like, unsure of herself. And I kind of made her feel better. And by the end of our conversation, she was back to herself and smiling and talking back with people. But she was breaking down actually before that. So that would be one of them.
And did that have a positive impact on you emotionally?
It did because, as men, we kind of hold our feelings in a lot, and oh, or if any person just wouldn't have that one person to tell it to, is if you have nobody to call or talk to and tell you what you're really feeling and how emotional you are, you feel like you're breaking down. Getting that out is definitely a big plus.
I mean, the way you worded that was just incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's like an outlet.
Yeah. So it made me feel a little better about myself too. It was like I'm happy I helped that person. Who knows what could happen when she left there? Who knows what her night could have brought to her, or the next day. Maybe it uplifted her spirits for good. Hopefully,
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your
no
time.
problem. Thank you.